SBR Boxing. Myself and Paul, we are back. Another week of previews. Different format this week. We're splicing and dicing. We've got 3 fights. This is the first one of the 3. Paul's going to take us through it in his eloquent and, I suppose, charismatic way as he always does. Paul, we're going, I believe, well, I'm going to give away the venue. We're not going to give away the names. We're going to Telford, aren't we, sir, for Super Bantamweight action. Please, Paul, take us through it.
Yeah, thanks for that, Elliot. As you said, new format, but we're still going to be previewing 3 fights a week. We're looking at this one on British soil on Saturday, the 29th of July. And you're, of course, indeed correct, my friend. We're in Telford at the Telford International Centre for British and European Super Bantamweight title action. And we are, of course, talking about the main event, BT Sports Show, Liam Davies against Jason Cunningham. This fight is kind of, I suppose we'll go through a tale of the tape first before I get into it. Liam Davies, 13-0 with 5 KOs, orthodox fighter. Can't see anything about his height or reach on BoxRec. Jason Cunningham's 32-7. Bit of a mad record, but 7 KO wins. Only been stopped twice over 7 defeats. A little bit older at 33. He's a southpaw and stands at 5'7" tall. Now you look at this fight and think it's really tough to call. We were talking just off camera there, and you're thinking, depending on how you were saying, depending on how I break this fight down and how I introduce it, that'll sway you either one way or the other. And I completely agree. It is really a pick and fight. And I can see this being a real 50-50 split down the middle with boxing fans. Liam Davies, his last 2 wins have been incredible. I think for that he was a prospect. Everyone knew that he was talented, but didn't really necessarily know what level he was at. He obviously fought Mark Leach, and beat him via decision, which I think he was an underdog in that fight. So incredible performance there. And last time out, Elliot, he beat Iona Baluta, and I recall you and I both both of us previewing that fight months ago, and we both sided with Baluta in that fight. And then since then, obviously Baluta's beaten Andrew Kane, for example. Had a close fight with Conlon, so that was a really good win for Davies. He won nearly every round of that fight, to the surprise of us and probably many boxing fans. And he is back this weekend for British and European Super Bantamweight action against Jason Cunningham. Jason Cunningham's obviously beaten the likes of Brad Foster. He's beaten Gamal Yafai. Miguel Gonzalez was a recent win. His last loss was to Zolani Tete, who obviously Tete, former world champion. He also lost, kind of the other of the 7 losses. He's lost to some big names on there, Mick Conlon, Jordan Gill, Cal Yafai as well. So yeah, it's an intriguing fight, Elliot, and one that is very difficult to call. So I'm glad I'm asking you for your opinion first, because the cogs are still turning in my head here. So how do you see this fight? Is this just an old classic 50-50?
Paul, as I said off there, I was going to base my prediction on your breakdown, and it's disappointing to have to say this to you, Paul, but you've not helped me pick either way there. I'm still, to be honest with you, still a bit undecided. Look, like you said, I remember we both went Baluta, didn't we? We both went Baluta against Davis. And you look at, I suppose, those recent wins, and you think actually Davis is in the ascendancy, but there's something obviously about Cunningham's CV as well, and the names he's got on that CV, which you mentioned there, obviously, that are very credible. And the guys he's lost to are also top end fighters as well. So you can't even sit there, I'll take maybe for example like Jordan Gillaway, but Conlon, the Conlon loss, obviously, and the Tete loss, like there's no sort of criticism for those losses. My prediction is this, Paul. It's going to go 12 rounds. I'll say that. I'm actually, now that this is based on nothing other than gut instincts and intuition, but I'm going to go with Liam Davies points solely, really, I think, to do with potentially miles on the clock, looking fresh out, and the momentum that he's had coming off those 2 recent wins, which really impressed me. That's the only way I'm basing it. I would not be at all surprised if Cunningham won also by points, but frankly, that's where I'm going. So I'm gonna edge towards Davis, but there's other fights, frankly, and you might cover this later on in the week. But there's other fights. If I was a betting man, I would throw my money behind rather than this one. This is going to ruin an ACCA, frankly, as far as I'm concerned. So stay well away from this.
100%. And do you know what? We've gone full circle on Liam Davies there. We were both picking Baluta to school him. Now we're both picking Liam Davies to win this fight. And yeah, I agree with you. I think this fight is destined for 12 rounds. You look at both men, and they've only got a combined 12 knockouts in 53 fights. So the likelihood is this goes 36 minutes. I completely agree, Elliot. And again, I'm siding with Davis. I think I wasn't skeptical. Maybe that's not the right word, but I didn't know how good he was before the Beluda fight,
Mm.
and like Beluda is a tricky customer, and you've seen even since that we were talking about that Andrew Kane fight. I thought Andrew Kane was going to beat Beluda in
Mm.
that simply based on Beluda off the Davies performance, but then obviously Beluda won that, so it shows that he still has a lot left. So that Beluda win for over Andrew Kane has looked brilliant for Liam Davis. That win looks even better now for him. And you know what? I think just basing off that, I see Liam Davis putting on a bit of a masterclass. Not going to say a resounding unanimous decision, but I think it will be enough that yeah, there's a kind of a conclusive winner, should I say, um, at the end of the fight. So yeah, I completely agree with you, mate. It's a good main event. It is a 50-50 fight and one I'm looking forward to. But yeah, it's a good fight and we're in agreement.
We are in agreement. We are in agreement. And guys, obviously, that's as we always like to say. Let us know in the comments whether you agree further or disagree with Paul and myself. We'll have obviously other content coming up, obviously relating to this fight week, previews and reviews, obviously coming up. Check out for those as well. But Paul, as always, thank you very much for speaking to you, sir. And looking forward to joining you for other previews in the future.